Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids. My name is Amit Changani and this is the Hyundai i20, the 2018 Facelift. And I know that it's been some time since this car was launched, but it still is one of the most relevant cars in the premium hatchback segment. And since we had not done a video review of the car, I thought I might as well give you a very detailed review of this car and give you a quick opinion on how it holds against the Baleno. Let's talk about the front, where some changes were made during the facelift, and the headlamps have been changed. The grille now is the cascading design. The lower bumper also has this lip underneath. You have this slit here next to the fog lamps, and the fog lamps also get a cornering function now. These projectors though are available only in the top variant and not in the lower variants, where you have only a halogen. Coming towards the side, you have these very beautiful looking 16-inch wheels which are available on the top end Esta options variant. You also have 15-inch alloys, and on the lower variants you have 14-inch steel wheels, and in the lower middle variants you have a cap also for them. You have these trafficators or blinkers on the ORVMs, and door handles here are chrome. On base variant they are in black, and on the mid variants they are done in body color. The B pillar is done in black tape, although if you look at the C pillar, it's done in a glossy black paint, and it gives the car's roof a floating effect and it looks rather nice. Coming towards the rear, the changes have been even more extensive, and the tail lamps have been completely overhauled. The tailgate has been reshaped, the registration plate has gone up, and the rear bumper now gets this two-tone kind of treatment in the top of the line variants. You also get these rear fog lamps. You have these sensors as well as this rear view camera, and all of these changes make the i20 still very relevant, still very fresh, and make it look very, very premium. I want to mention the dual tone option here, which was introduced at the 2018 facelift, in which you get three colors. There is a white, there is a red, and there is an orange with a black roof, and in that color scheme the car looks very, very nice. It appears to be one of the best looking cars in its segment with the two-tone color scheme. Overall, I still think that with the quality of the finish, the paint, and the way the overall turnout is, this still is one of the most appealing premium hatchbacks in its segment, and looks very fresh and very appealing. Let's get inside and see all the new features and all the highlights of the i20 facelift. To start off, you get this key, which is a smart key only for the top of the line Esta options variant, and you also get a push button start for the same variant. For the rest of the variants, you have a key which you have to insert to turn the ignition on. So let's turn the ignition on, and once you do that, you realize that the instrument console now gets the distance to drive function, which was not there before, so that's a very, very welcome inclusion. Another great thing is the fact that the steering wheel is tilt as well as telescopically adjustable, which is a function that most of the cars don't have, so that's again a great feature to have. The driver's side seat is height adjustable, but only for the top variants, not for the lower variants. You get powered windows from base variant onwards. On the base variants you get power windows too, but the rear windows are not powered on the Era. You have electric controls for the ORVM on mid variants onwards, but only the top variants get the power folding function. Also, only the top variants get the auto down function for the driver's side window. Talking of the infotainment system, the base variant doesn't get an infotainment system, but the mid 3 variants, they get a 2-in audio with the 6 speakers, but the top variants with the 7-inch Avian touchscreen unit, they get 4 speakers and 4 tweeters, which makes it 8 speakers in all, and it's one of the best infotainment systems out there. It also gets navigation, which is provided through this SD card here. You also get Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto compatibility and MirrorLink, and the connectivity is enabled through this USB socket here. There were 2 power sockets earlier here. One is still here, while the other one has been replaced by this USB socket. You also have an aux in. The sound is Archimedes, and the sound quality in this car is actually one of the best in the segment. And overall, the infotainment system here is second to none, and Hyundai have actually done a very good job with the infotainment system. You can use this button here to increase or decrease the brightness of the blue backlight on the dashboard. The AC, as you can see here, since this is the top of the line Esta options variant, this has an automatic climate control. However, on the lower variants you get a manual AC. Talking of the AC, you also get this chilled compartment here, and it's available even in the lower variants, so that's a very good option. Only the Era doesn't get it, rest of the variants get it, so that's a very good feature. And if you have any drinks that you want to cool You can easily do that using this glove compartment. Although the glove compartment by itself is not the biggest I've seen, but it's not too small as well and adds to the storage spaces within the car. A few other good features that I see here are these steering mounted controls, which are available from sports variant onwards. You also get these controls for the infotainment system as well as telephony. Although this leather wrapped steering wheel is exclusive only to the top of the line Esta options variant. Now, talking of the interior again, the interior has somewhat been refurbished, and the biggest change is the color of the dash. So this beige that you see here is of a darker shade and prevents the interiors from looking soiled. Although in the dual tone variants you have a different interior, and while for the white and the red you get red accents inside, for the orange variant you get orange accents, and that's a difference between the standard version of this car and the dual tone variant as far as the interiors go. A few other features that you'd be interested in seeing is this sunglasses holder, this vanity mirror for the passenger side, which by the way is not illuminated. ABS as well as 2 airbags up front. They come standard on all the variants including the Era variant, which is a very good thing. However, if you are very specific about safety, you can go for as many as 6 airbags in the top of the line Esta options variant, and I really think that's a great feature to have. The Freestyle as well as the Ford Figo in this segment above and beyond offer that feature, and I really think that 6 airbags should be offered at least as an option, if not as standard, and the Hyundai i20 duly obliges. Now, talking of space inside, if you look at the door panels, you'll see that there is sufficient space for a 1 liter bottle. There are map pockets, so there is some additional space. You have the space for a wallet as well. There is space for 2 cups here. One is bigger than this one, this is a little smaller. And from a utility perspective, you have this flat tray here which can easily swallow a big wallet and a mobile, which is always very useful while you're going for long journeys. You also have this armrest. It's not there on the Era variant, but it's there on the Magna variant, on the Sport variant, on the Esta as well as the Esta options. But on the lower variants, it's not sliding. On the Esta and the Esta options variants, it's sliding. It also has a storage space underneath, which obviously is very useful and is quite cavernous as well, so it can swallow a couple of cell phones without any problem, and obviously it adds to the comfort as well. Talking of the seats are quite comfortable too. They are very well bolstered. There is very good under-thigh support, and the fact that they are height adjustable and the fact that the steering is adjustable for reach as well as rake really helps matters when you want to find the right driving position for long drives. The car also has a dead pedal, so overall all of this comes together very well for you to find your driving position very well. The steering is very light, so within the city it makes for very easy maneuvers, and overall the i20 comes across as a very nice, very friendly, very good car to drive and makes you feel at home right at the outset. So that's the story up front, folks. Let's get to the back seat and see how the state of affairs is there. Now, the first thing that you'll notice about the ingress is that it's at the optimum height, and even if you have any elderly people in your house, they would not find it very difficult to get in or get out. So the height of the rear seat is at a very nice position. The knee room, as you can see, is pretty good. There is ample space for your legs to move around, although this is not the best in class. The Baleno has slightly better knee room than this place. You also get this AC vent at the rear, which always is useful in the Indian context. And a new inclusion is this wide armrest with 2 cup holders, so that always is very useful for long journeys. In addition, if you look at the width, this is not the widest car in its segment. The Baleno is slightly wider than this. However, if you want to seat 3, you probably can, and for medium journeys, the person who's sitting here would be fine because the knees are not fouling anywhere. And although the 3 people, if they are very well built, they are going to be rubbing their shoulders, but it's not going to be too bad either. So overall, the knee room, the leg room and the width for the class is not bad at all. It's still a very comfortable car. I won't say that this is the best under-thigh support that I've seen, but this still is very, very good. And if you're traveling with 2 people in the back seat for long journeys, there won't be any problem whatsoever. The headroom, as you can see, is also very, very good. Even 6-footers and taller people would not have any problem. Their heads won't brush with the roof. The headrests here are adjustable, but you need to know the fact that the headrests are adjustable only on the top variants, and the lower variants don't get an adjustable headrest. They get only the integrated version of the headrests. The door panels at the rear door are also quite big. It can easily accommodate a 1 liter bottle, and you have a space here for a wallet. One more thing that I wanted to point out is the fact that once you drop the seat down, it's not a 60-40 split unit, and that's not a very good thing because the Elite i20 is not the most spacious car in the boot, and by keeping it 60-40 split, Hyundai could probably have compensated for that lack of space. And while that's not a deal breaker, I think that having a 60-40 split backrest for the seat would definitely have helped affairs. Now, talking of the boot specifically, the space here is 285 liters, which definitely is not class leading. In fact, it's smaller than some of the other cars from the smaller segments as well. And if you really compare it with the Baleno, it has better boot space at 339 liters. So the space inside the Baleno somehow is more than the i20 by some margin, despite the Baleno having a shorter wheelbase by 50 mm, and that's surprising for me. Anyway, this boot seems to be sufficient for a family outing for a small family over a weekend, but if you really want to be traveling long distance, there can be a bit of an issue. This light here is available only in the top variant. Lower variants don't have this light. Also, this parcel tray is available only in the higher variants and not in the lower variants. So for the facelift version, the Elite i20 gets the same engine, the same 1.2 unit which powered the previous version, and the fuel efficiency is claimed to be 9% better. The ARI efficiency figure is 19.8 kmpl, but in practical conditions you would not probably find any difference. Within the city you will get about 12 to 13 kilometers to the liter. On the highway you will get about 16 to 17, and that's pretty much the fuel efficiency that you'll get from most of the cars in this segment. If you compare it specifically with the Baleno, it has better fuel efficiency, and in terms of its outright performance, it feels a little more sprightly, having a more rev-happy engine, but that car again is 200 kg lighter. With 200 kg more weight, the i20 feels sturdier, it feels more solid, and as everybody knows, this actually is a safer car to drive. So all those factors have to be also taken into account. The low and mid range is very, very strong, so the i20 really presents itself as a very solid car to be driven within the city. The gear shifts are very, very smooth, one of the best in the segment, and if you want to be using this car predominantly for city use, it's going to come across as one of the best cars. Extremely refined engine. I think this is the best refined engine in its class. At idling speeds, you would not even be able to hear the engine noise inside the cabin. Also, the NVH levels are fantastic. There is no road noise, there is no ambient noise coming in, there is no engine noise. So the cabin is very, very quiet, and all of that really makes the i20 come across as a very polished, very premium, very, very classy car to drive. And that difference is very evident the moment you sit behind the car, especially if you're driving one of the top end variants. For example, I'm driving the i20 Esta options variant right now, and the feel from behind the steering wheel is that of driving a very big, very polished, very, very well engineered car. So in that sense, the engine transmission combo and the overall engineering, the packaging, the way the cabin has been insulated comes across as fantastic. The ride quality is very, very supple. It absorbs everything very well. There are no thuds, there are no jerks filtering into the cabin. Very cushy ride, not just at the front seat, at the back seat as well. So a very practical package for the families which dwell within the cities. Maybe from an outright performance perspective, there are cars which are quicker or faster, but for all practical purposes, for about 90% of the people who would be using this car, I think this package works very, very well. And unless you are an out and out enthusiast, everything that this car does should suffice all your needs. You can also get a CVT automatic for this engine variant, and the fuel efficiency there is 17.4 kmpl. So if you are driving a lot within the city and you want convenience where you don't have to shift gears, you can opt for that option as well. In addition, you have a diesel option as well, the 1.4 diesel, which dishes out 89 HP and 220 Newton meters of torque, over 22 kilometers per liter of fuel efficiency. And the power there is more than the Baleno. The fuel efficiency is not as good, but there is definitely a significant difference in terms of the performance on the diesel front, and we're going to do a review of that car also very soon. The Elite i20's price starts at 5.45 lakhs, and for the Esta variant it goes to 7.45 lakh rupees. Esta options variant is more expensive, but then again it's got 6 airbags. So if you want to compare it with the Baleno, the corresponding prices for the respective variants is 5.5 lakh rupees and 7.5 lakh rupees, which is 5,000 rupees more expensive variant to variant. So the i20 variant to variant as compared to the Baleno is slightly less expensive. And if you really want to talk about the high points of this car, I really think that the features inside this car, the NVH levels, the way it's been built, the overall fit and finish, and the overall feel that you get from behind the wheel, the solid feel, the way the car drives, the noise, vibrations and harshness, the NVH insulation, the suspension's softness, and that big car, the solid sorted feel that you get from behind the wheel is something which is totally incomparable. The Baleno has its own high points. It has a revier, a peppier engine. Its performance is slightly better, its fuel efficiency is slightly better, and the space inside is slightly better. But if you are buying a premium hatch, you are essentially buying it for the premium feel of it. And if you really want to talk about the premium feel inside the cabin, I think the i20 still aces this segment, because the premium feel, the sense of refinement, the sense of richness that you get inside that cabin is still unbridled. The sense of safety that you get inside is still unbridled. This car is loaded to the gills with features, and it really feels like a very big, very premium, very nice car when it's on the move. So unless fuel efficiency and outright performance is on top of your priority list, I really think that the Hyundai i20 checks all the boxes and is still as relevant as it always has been for the premium hatchback segment. If you are going to buy in the premium hatchback segment, you cannot do that without taking a test drive of this car. I really hope that this video was of some use to you. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe to Motoroids, follow us on Instagram, hit that notification icon, and until next time then, this is Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and drive safe.